I have 24 followers on Instagram. I've been paid to grow other people's brands for years. Those two sentences should not be allowed to coexist, but they do. This is episode 9 of Make It Inevitable. And today, I'm going to tell you the most embarrassing thing about my own work, on purpose, in front of the people I am asking to take me seriously. I'm going to tell you why my personal account looks the way it looks. I'm going to tell you exactly what I have done for clients that I have not done for myself. And I'm going to tell you why. The more I learn about how this game actually works, the less interested I am in cheating my way to a bigger number on my own page. If you're building anything publicly right now, I think this is the conversation you've been waiting for someone to have out loud. Most operators in my chair will not have it. They will keep posting like the number is bigger than it is. I'm going to do the opposite. 24 followers, make it inevitable. Here we go. Let me start with the receipts, because we cannot do this episode without them. If I open with the 24 follower line and I don't back it up with the work, you're just listening to someone explain why their thing is small. That is not the episode. The episode is why someone whose thing should be big chose to keep it small for now, and what I'm doing with that choice. So here's what I actually do. I am the COO of a marketing agency called Brandblaze. We do brand strategy, outreach, content, and account management for B2B clients. I'm the operator inside that business. I run the team, I manage the clients, I build the systems. One of our clients is a consulting firm. The two co-founders working with executive teams at growing companies. When we started with them, they were a sub $2 million business with a strong product and a quiet pipeline. Real expertise, no machine around it. 12 months later, that business added roughly $1 million of revenue. About half of that came from a single outreach motion I built and ran for them. The other half came from work we did on positioning, content, and how they were running their sales conversations. One specific action, one specific call we made on their behalf, saved them around $400K they were about to spend in the wrong direction. I'm not telling you that to flex. I'm telling you that because it's the answer to the question you're about to ask, which is, if you're so good at this, why is your own number 24? I have other receipts. I run marketing and outreach for a planner company. I run marketing for a tech client in the B2B SaaS space, whose name I'm not going to drop on this show because it would be awkward for them. I've been doing this work in some form for years. I know exactly how to make a number get bigger fast. I know which levers move it. I've moved them for other people for a living. I am also going to tell you, because this is the kind of show this is, that none of that has made me wealthy. I'm a salaried employee inside an agency I do not own. My situation is not the look at my Lambo situation. My situation is I'm an operator who is great at her job and is also growing her own thing on the side, slowly, with a small budget and a real life around it. That is the floor I am building from. That is what makes the rest of this episode honest. Now we can talk about the 24. If I wanted that number to be 2,400 by the end of the quarter, I know what I would do. I would not even have to think about it. I would buy followers from a service, the cheap ones, fake accounts that pad the count without engaging. I would run a giveaway with a hook nobody actually cares about, the kind that gets 1,000 follows from people who unfollow the next week. I would write engagement bait posts, the ones that ask, is it just me? Or do you also think water is wet? Comment yes or no. I would pay for a shout out from a bigger creator in my space. I would buy ads against a low quality lead magnet. I would do 6 of those at once. In about 4 to 6 weeks, that account would have a fake number on it. It would look more legitimate from the outside. People would land on the profile, see a 4-figure follower count, and assume I knew what I was doing because there was a number under my name. I'm not doing any of that. Here's why. Every single one of those tactics, if I used them, would compromise the brand I'm actually trying to build. Make It Inevitable is a show about closing the gap between who you are and who you say you are. The gap that cheap follower tactics open up is exactly the gap I'm supposed to be closing. I cannot, with a straight face, tell you that the betting on Sunday afternoon is the whole thing, and then go buy 1,500 fake followers because the real number is making me uncomfortable. If I do that, I'm not the operator. I'm the operator who got tired of being the operator and decided to look the part instead. So I'm not. The choice I'm making is the harder one. The choice is I'm going to build this brand the same way I build a client's brand, with the same standards, the same systems, the same patience. I'm going to do it on a smaller budget because the brand does not have a P&L behind it yet. I'm going to do it on a longer runway because I'm the operator and the founder and the writer and the talent, and that is one person with a day job. I'm going to keep showing up to a small number and treating that number like it's the real audience, because it is. The 24 people who follow this account follow it because they actually want to see what I post. Some of them are people I know personally, some of them are not. None of them are fake. When one of them comments or saves a post, it is a real human telling me a real thing landed. That is worth more to me today than a bigger fake number. I'm going to tell you something else that is true. The slow build is harder than the fast build. It is harder because there's no dopamine in it. The fast build gives you a hit every day, a new follower count to refresh, a vanity metric to feel about. The slow build gives you almost nothing for months. You post, you wait, you check, you see the same number. You post again. The honest builders all describe the same first 6 to 12 months. It feels like shouting into a closet. This is the closet phase. I am in it. I'm telling you about it because I think the people who get past it are the people who knew they were in it and kept going anyway. So here's what I'm doing instead, in case the question is useful for what you are building. I am posting on a calendar, not because the calendar is sacred, but because if I don't, I will not. The calendar is the external pressure I built for myself, since my own brand does not have a client pressing me on it. I'm protecting one cadence above all others. The Wednesday podcast launch. That has to ship every week. The rest of the daily feed is flex. If I have the energy and the asset, I'll post. If I don't, I skip. I don't post late. I don't post stale. I don't pretend the week happened the way the calendar said it should. I'm going to tell you something about this past week. I felt deflated. I missed a scheduled reel. I did not want to record myself. I did the bare minimum to keep the account alive, which was ship the locked posts and let the optional ones slide. That's what's supposed to happen on a week like that. The system worked. The system is supposed to absorb a bad week without breaking. If I had forced a reel out of myself on a Thursday I did not want to record, the reel would have been bad. The audience would have felt it, and I would have spent the rest of the week recovering from a mistake instead of resting. This is the part nobody on Instagram tells you. The slow build asks you to absorb your own bad weeks without panicking about the calendar. The people who quit are the people who don't let themselves have a bad week. I'm measuring saves and follows, not views. Views on a 24 follower account are a noise metric. They tell you almost nothing about whether the content is working. Saves and follows tell you whether someone somewhere valued the post enough to either come back to it or sign up for more of it. I'm building one piece of pillar content at a time. The Why Me carousel went up a couple weeks ago. The ClickUp Story carousel went up last Friday. And these are the anchor pieces that will still be doing work in 6 months when the account is bigger, because they answer questions a new follower will have when they land on a profile for the first time. Nobody's asking those questions yet, because nobody is landing. But when they do start landing, the answers will be there. I'm writing every caption like the person reading it might be the right person. Not the right 1,000 people, the one right person. The founder who's quietly looking for someone to tell her she does not have a willpower problem. The operator who is tired of pretending her own brand is bigger than it is. The marketer who has built 4 campaigns for other people this year and 0 for herself. I'm building this account so that when the right person finds it, they find a real one. If you're building anything publicly right now, here's what I want you to take from this episode. The first thing is the number under your name on social media is not your credibility. Your work is your credibility. Your receipts are your credibility. The story of how you do your work is your credibility. The number is a vanity proxy for credibility. And the people who are good at reading other operators know that. The people you actually want to work with can tell the difference between a real account and a fake looking one. They have been burned by the fake ones. The second thing is, the slow build is a choice. It is not a punishment for not knowing the growth tactics. I know the growth tactics. I'm choosing not to use them because the brand I'm building is one where the slow build is the proof. If I'm going to tell people that closing the gap between who you are, who you say you are, is the whole thing, then the account I do that on has to be the same way. It has to look the way the work actually does. Smaller than I want it to be. Honest about the size. Real about the math. The third thing is, the bad weeks are part of the system. You're going to feel deflated. You're going to skip a post. You're going to look at the calendar and feel like you're failing the calendar. The calendar is a tool, not a verdict. If the system you built does not have room for a bad week, the system is the problem, not the week. The fourth thing is, you should care more about which 24 people are on your list than the size of the list. If 24 of the right people are paying attention, that is more leverage than 24,000 of the wrong ones. Every operator I've ever met who built something real did it with a small group of the right people first. The fifth thing is, the moment you start performing on your own page is the moment you stop being useful to your own audience. The audience came for the real version of you. The performance version is what they get everywhere else. If you cannot tell the truth on your own platform, where can you tell it? So that is episode 9. I have 24 followers on Instagram. I am the COO of a marketing agency. I have moved real revenue for real businesses for years, and I am building my own brand the long, slow, honest way because the alternative would make the brand a lie. Did you get anything out of this episode? The most useful thing you can do is a thing I have been deliberately not asking for the whole show. Follow the account. The link is in the show notes, and the link is in my bio. Not because I need the account to go up, because if this kind of episode is the kind of thing you want more of, the platform needs to know it. That is how I find the right 100, and then the right 1,000, then the right 10,000. Save this episode if it gave you something. Send it to one person if you know somebody who is building something small and quietly, wondering if they're doing it wrong. Next Wednesday on Make It Inevitable. Until then, betting on a Sunday afternoon is the whole thing. I'll see you there.